It's that time yet again. Grid life is upon us. 2 days we leave. In typical fashion, I'm not ready. So, we're gonna try to put this entire coilover set. We've got brand new LED tail lights and side marker lights. The side marker lights haven't shown up yet, which is not good. Also, panhard bar. Which, let's get this out of the box real quick. So if you decide to do coilovers on a straight axle vehicle, like a Mustang, and nobody tells you this ahead of time, you have to get an adjustable panhard bar. If your car has a panhard bar. So my Mustang's got one, my last Mustang had one. And I'm not entirely sure if all the S197s and the S550s all come factory now with panhard bars, and they probably do. But anyways, if you have one, you have to replace it, because what a panhard bar does is help stable and center your rear axle. So once you drop the car, you're going to change the geometry of the panhard bar, and you're inadvertently actually going to kick the entire axle out to one side. So you got a wheel hanging way past your fender, or quarter panel, sorry, and then tucked way under on the other side. It'll look horrible, handle funny, and you'll probably run it into your quarter panel. So you'll need one of these bad boys. They're super easy to set up. We'll get into that after we got it on the car. Show you guys how to do that. But anyways, so we got 2 days. We should be able to get all of this done today, which is a lot. I went with Godspeed Mono SS coilovers. I'm not super familiar with them. They're bright pink. I did know that before I ordered them. But hey, I figure, if they handle well, they've got decent reviews. Also, when I was kind of doing some research, I didn't see any of these put on a Mustang. So I would like to know what it's like, if it does well, and then probably do a review on these later after I've driven the car for a while, and kind of give you guys my opinion on whether they do well on such a heavy car. I know a lot of like the Nissan Zs, their guys are putting them on. The BRZs, stuff like that. They're much more popular in the Euro cars and the Japanese cars. Whatever. We're going to throw it on the S197, see how she does. So for now, let's get it. All right, what we're going to do is start on the rears. Due to the fact we've already done this sort of once with the white car, I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to set the purchase and everything. But this is pretty straightforward. What you're going to do, if you're doing this yourself, you've got one bolt here you're going to pull. There's a nut on the top of this that we're going to get off with an impact. If for some reason you weren't doing, coilovers and getting rid of these, it's not recommended to impact these things off, because if that rod gets spinning, you can damage the shock. So just FYI. So we'll get our jack underneath the pig, and then we will lower this side and the other side down. We'll remove these springs, getting ready for our new purchase and our new springs. I'm also going to pull this bump stop off, because with the Godspeed kit, it actually has little bump stops inside of the shocks. So we'll use those bump stops instead of these bump stops. Plus, these are giant, and because we're going to lower the car a lot, those aren't going to work. So we will get to work and be right back with you guys. All right. Show you guys the difference. This is the factory. This is the Godspeed coilover. You can see the huge difference. Obviously, you'd add the perch, which is like 2 inches, something like that. One of the things that we did real quick, because I wanted to make sure that once everything's installed and the car's slammed, that we're not going to have anything colliding into the quarter panels or the rim jacking up, anything like that. So we took the springs out. I had my wife, while I was looking at everything, jack the axle all the way up to make sure that we had clearance from the lip of the rim and the tire. There wasn't any problem, so we brought that back down. I'll end up pulling the rims back out. I'll install the panhard bar. I'll lock down the perches so that they sit where they sit. I'll get everything back up into place. And then we kind of focus on the front, get the front all dialed in, and then it's kind of a dance from there I feel really good about how I've got the back set up. I feel like I remember from when I did the white car how to do it correctly. So it'll pretty much just be kind of matching the front ride height to the back ride height. So we'll get back to work. All right, quick intermission. We're just getting her ready for grid life. How's it looking, babe?
Looking good, babe.
Yeah. Yeah. Not too shabby. She shines up pretty nice. Talking about the car, babe.
Oh.
And you. Okay, back to work. All right, if you'll come in here, we've got the rear end all done. We've got the shocks on. We've got the springs on, the perches, sway bars all connected. The panhard bar is connected. Everything is torqued to spec on both sides. So we're gonna move to the front. Originally, like I said, I was gonna do the panhard bar right now, but I actually think what I wanna do is get everything done, get the front end at a good level where I like it, where it matches the back. I'm actually gonna put the car down. I made these little wooden blocks. So I'll set the car down and then sort of adjust it from there, because I wanna just make sure that the entire weight is on the panhard bar. It's the way that it's going to be when it's driving down the road, when it's sitting and stuff like that, so it's nice and centered. So if you come over here on the front, what we're going to do, we're going to pull these 4 bolts on both sides. We'll get rid of this cross member, get that out of here. We'll come down here. This is your sway bar right here. So we've got aftermarket sway bars for that, because once we lower it, those are not going to work anymore. So make sure you've got that. And then you got your 2 main bolts here and here, which I'm not sure you can see, but pull that gets the whole strut out of there, which brings me to a quick point. If you do this, make sure you finish all this up and then take it to an alignment shop. If you don't, you're gonna tear your tires up. My tires are brand new, so I definitely don't wanna do that. I've actually got a shop called Liskey's in Lansing that I go to. That's another thing you kinda wanna check. When I did this to my white Mustang, actually all the guys in town wouldn't touch the car because it was too low. Liskey's was the only one that had the right machine or whatever, where the fact that it was dropped on the ground didn't make a difference. So I'm gonna get tearing this thing apart, and I'll see you guys in a bit. It's the next day. I got really late last night, and honestly I'd have been out here to probably like 2, 3 in the morning to try to finish everything up, so I just packed up. Anyways, that being said, we got this side done. The rear is obviously still done. You guys already saw that. I'm leaving the adjustable sway bars to do at the very end, so I want to get both of the front coilovers in and adjusted. Something that we decided to do, we actually threw a measuring tape on the distance of the top of that quarter panel, or the wheel well, down to the middle of that hub, and then we're actually going to adjust this about 1/4 of an inch longer. Now that's probably not going to be on the money, but we can adjust this coilover and that coilover, I think, pretty close. So instead of potentially having to adjust this 4 or 5 times, I think we can get away with adjusting it maybe 1 or 2 times. You know, and obviously the less the better. So we're gonna finish up on the other side, get that torn apart, and we'll see you guys here in a little bit. The suspension is all taken care of. We'll still have to set the ride height on the front. It's possible we also maybe have to adjust the rear, but I don't think so. So we are gonna stop with that right now though. We're gonna switch to getting our lights in, because I figure while it's jacked up and the wheels off, it's gonna make it way easier to get those side marker lights in. Let me show you those right now. All right, the side marker lights that I went with are these beauties, smoked. They're LED. It just does a strip of either red or amber for, you know, front and rear. I believe these are the house brand. They're $100, so super cheap. Throw those in, which is kind of funny because we didn't finish yesterday like I thought, which gave us an extra day. So these arrived today, which is fantastic. We get the whole car done, and I don't have to worry about it. Right in time for grid life. And if you're counting, by the way, that means I have 1 day till grid life now instead of 2 days. I mean, not counting today, of course. But these are the rear taillights that I chose from Rexium. Oh, jeez. Come here. Oh, they're so good looking. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right. Check these boys out. Oh, man. Let's go. Oh, they're so awesome. All right, so these are obviously styled after the S550 rear tail lights. I really love them. The way that they glow is super unique. The rear reverse lights actually integrated into this third bar, which again, super, super cool. Obviously, the smoked out, blacked out look is just awesome. So let's get these on the car and get back to it. If you watch the American Muscle's got a write-up on how to do this, I kinda disagree. In their video, there's two little push pins right there and there. Push pins obviously aren't in, but those are the mounting holes. You pull those, then the guy reaches his hand up. Bull crap, man. My big old arm's not gonna fit, so what I did, which was super simple, I pulled that screw and these two screws here and here. That gave me a little bit of wiggle room here. I was able to get my hand up and then literally come in from this position and you can easily grab this little tab right here. You push that and the old one will pop out. Then make sure when you plug these in that you match up your red and black to black and purple. Sometimes right and left will be different colors. Ground typically remains the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other three and we'll be getting moving. All right, so for the front side markers, they're also pretty easy. There's this panel right here. Just some 7mm bolts. Take that panel, it drops, and then you just reach in from underneath. You get to the back of this thing. There are two 10mm. Pull those out, and then this thing pops forward. Put the new ones in, reverse order. It's pretty easy. Installing your rear tail lights is actually, well, these ones are really, really simple. You've got a nut there, a nut there, a nut there. You take those three out. You'll pull this housing out, pop this through, unplug that, and then literally the reverse. Shove that thing in there, tighten the three screws, plug it in, push this back through, and you're done. So let's get to that right now. All right, that was really easy. Just really quick, wanted to show you something that I like to do on almost any kind of rubber grommet or anything like that. I just put the smallest amount of grease on there. I like to use silicone grease, and basically once I try to put that in there, it's going to slide in, pop. It's not going to tear or rip or anything. Nothing theoretically should get cut. So let me get these things in and I'll show you guys how amazing this car is.